You're listening to the Next Team podcast. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another episode of the Next Team Cricket, episode 12. And I'm having my boys Yash and Arjun today in attendance. It's been a while, boys, since we did cricket, and I'm pleased that we're going to be covering the Ashes preview, which will be happening in a couple of days' time, and we hope that you guys are as excited as us. And so before we kick things off, we'd just like to remind you guys that we are on YouTube and Spotify as the Next Team Podcast, and on Instagram and TikTok as the Next Team SG, where you can get the latest content and updates on a weekly basis. With that, we like to start things off. Anyone can not anyone can. Let's focus on the Australian squad first. So me and Yash did that whole Tim Payne debacle. I think that, if in case you guys didn't catch it, you guys can catch it. It's still up on YouTube. Our latest episode on our YouTube and our Spotify page. But on a follow-up to that, we predicted that Pat Cummins may be the likeliest candidate to take over the Australian captaincy. And and the way it panned out, eventually Cummins did get the captaincy. So what are your thoughts, boys? Surprised, or like, what do you guys expect from him as a captain? Yeah.
I think it's quite unknown, isn't it? Because we have never seen, at least I have not seen Pat Cummins as a captain before. So I have absolutely no idea what to expect of him. But a good thing is that he has Steve Smith alongside him, who has been an Australian captain before. And apparently, I was watching this Pat Cummins interview. I can't remember. I think maybe it was with TGC, I guess. But he actually said there was an interview process he had to go through. He and Steve Smith.
I was watching the same episode. Yes.
Yeah, to battle out with the captaincy. So I guess for Steve Smith, it's more of the history which kind of didn't get into captaincy, I think. But I would say, for sure, like Pat Cummins deserves the captaincy. So it's going to be quite interesting to see a fast bowler as a test captain.
Okay, on that topic, if I'm not sure if Arjun watched the episode, but just to give our viewers as well some context, he talked about how he was quite happy with the atmosphere or the leadership style of Tim Payne, and as a result, the atmosphere in the dressing room, which was the result of his captaincy, and Pat Cummins wanted to emulate that. And hearing that from a fan perspective, right? Do you think it's the right way to take the game forward, given the recent scandal that happened with Tim Payne?
Yes, it was a messy kind of fallout, the way Tim Payne exited the team, but he's commenting purely on what's happening purely on the cricket aspect of his leadership. What happened in his personal life, I guess, yes, he should know to do better than what he did, but honestly, it doesn't have much bearing on what happened in the dressing room. So I don't think it's completely unfair for him to come out and say that. If that's what he feels, then I think that's completely fair for him to say.
Okay. And Arjun, what are your thoughts on him taking over captaincy generally?
I feel like it was kind of the only choice they had. Obviously, if Steve Smith wasn't involved in Sandpapergate, there probably wouldn't be even this debate. Tim Payne would never be captain. Steve Smith would have been captain all the way, probably.
Yeah.
I'm quite surprised that Steve Smith got a second chance at a leadership role after what happened. It's a bit of an inconsistency with how David Warner has been completely excluded from redemption, yet Steve Smith, for some reason, has a second bite of the cherry. But maybe that's because
the involvement incident, I think it was more to do with the involvement, because David Warner was actually the main person who he was the vice captain at that point in time, but he was the main instigator for the incident. He was the one that asked Cameron Bancroft to actually use sandpaper to tamper with the surface of the ball, whereas Steve Smith was more of like, just do whatever you want, don't tell me what you're doing, just make sure you don't get caught, something like that. So in some sense, you could say that Steve Smith was just as much an accomplice for this incident. But fundamentally, it's whether you I guess accuse the guy who committed the murder or the guy who was sort of accomplice to the murder. It depends on how you look at it.
It's just the inconsistency, Like I understand what you mean,
Yeah.
because Steve Smith was like, trying to turn a blind eye and try to pretend like he wasn't aware of what
Exactly.
happened when
Mm.
when we all know that he probably did know. Like he probably was in the know. The reason
Yeah.
why I'm saying this is because obviously Cricket Australia, they're bought. The last 3 years they've put out a lot of PR about how they're trying to change their culture for the better, and yet
Mm.
they are putting Steve Smith, who obviously is a great captain, amazing run getter for Australia. Like in terms of the cricketing thing, you cannot question why he was appointed, but it
Yeah.
does go against and contradict this entire narrative that they're changing for the better in terms of cricket culture. Like for me,
Correct.
it's just very difficult for me to, even as if I was an Australian fan, I'll be like, what is the message here? It's like mixed signals at this point.
Okay, but
I
if
mean,
not Steve Smith, then who? That's the thing.
yeah.
If not
So
Steve
that's
Yeah,
Smith,
what.
they
who
have to
then?
make it must be maybe another senior player like Nathan Lyon or someone else. Like it
No, I mean
for me.
that's the issue they had. I think they didn't have a proper at least second leader inside the team because
True.
first of all they're taking a big, I wouldn't say okay, maybe a little bit of a risk with Pat Cummins being the captain because first of all he's never been a captain in the senior squad for Australia before,
Yeah.
and all of this also happened because I mean it's a sudden, it's not like it was planned for Pat Cummins to take the regime over Team Paine basically. So I guess maybe the Australian board felt that they like Cummins needs someone who can guide him a bit, who can
Yeah.
be a
Do you
good
guys
pillar
see?
of support
Yeah.
for him.
Do you guys see Cummins as a natural leader or more of like a leader through example? Because obviously he's the best test bowler right now on the planet. Is he going to
Yeah.
be? Because from what I've watched of him, he's not exactly that extroverted leader with an aura that guides other people, but he is the guy that gives that magic to their team. And is he going to be more of that kind of leader? Like I still not
I,
completely convinced in terms
I
of the
I think
leadership
I
potential.
think the tactical side of things is yet to be seen because we can't really
Mhm.
judge him. I think everyone in terms of what he brings to the team in terms of his character. If you watch the great cricketer, he seems to be classified as an alpha male or a sigma.
Sigma.
I mean, yeah, depends on I'm not sure how you view him. Personally, I wouldn't really paint him in the narrative. I see him as more of a, just one of the guys kind of person. I mean, that's my own personal
He seems
opinion.
quite reserved
Yeah,
and like
correct. I
Yeah.
more
wouldn't
like
really put
I'm going to
him.
do my job, that kind of stuff.
Correct. Yeah, he's more of like he's the kind of guy that will just let people do their own thing, and in some sense just
Dude,
give
he's
them
Harry
that
Kane.
comfort. Yeah, pretty much. That's the
He's Harry
same.
Kane.
That's the same name that popped in my head. Actually, he's more of that. Leadership through showing the way. Not really. I guess commanding the
A
rest.
leader. Yeah.
Yeah. So it'll be interesting to see how he goes along. But in my opinion, I think right now it was the best decision they could have made. Vice captain in Steve Smith, I guess, if they hadn't made the decision, would have opened another can of worms because you have zero experience in terms of your leadership group. But
True.
what they have in Steve Smith as a vice captain is a wealth of experience to tap on, and definitely Pat Cummins in those crucial situations will rely on Steve Smith's tactical nuance to get them out of jail. So I do think it's, I mean, considering the whole dynamic of the team and where they are right now, I think it's possibly it's probably, or rather it is probably the best decision they could have made. I don't think there is a better candidate per se in Australian cricket who is who should have been vice captain, or captain for that matter. But yeah, I do agree in that sense. There's some sense of impartiality in the way they handled David Warner and Steve Smith.
Yeah.
There's this sense of injustice, you could say.
Yeah, but I
But
mean, I
yeah,
think Yash explained it quite clearly. They're kind of forced into a corner.
Yeah.
It's not like
yeah,
their team is currently bursting with a lot of leadership
Yeah.
kind of players.
I mean,
correct.
we did talk about this in our previous episode, where we felt that maybe they could have Marnus come in and maybe learn, like a new young player come in and learn who might, from Pat Cummins' take the regime. But I think at the moment, I think what Australia need more of stability as well. They need a good
Correct.
stable future for the
No,
next few years.
but
and-
also, yeah. I mean, sorry to cut you off there. But also, one
Yeah, it's
crucial
okay.
point is this is a very very crucial series. It's not
Yeah.
like it's not like a, okay, no disrespect. It's not like a Australia v Bangladesh or Australia v I mean, you're not your top test team. That's the thing. England have been. I mean, it's a legendary series, the Ashes. So you definitely don't want to go in with a lack of experience in your squad or in your leadership group. So I think what you guys said have been spot on. I think it's probably the best decision Cricket Australia could have made in the circumstances. Okay, so let's then move on to. I mean, let's stick within the Australian national team and now move on to the wicketkeeper role, which was left vacant by Tim Paine. So we discussed. We didn't discuss much about who's going to replace him as keeper. But when I watched the great cricketer, some prominent names was Josh English. I mean Josh English. If I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing it properly,
Is it
but
Joe English or Josh English?
was it
I think
Josh
it's
or Joe?
Josh.
I think it's Josh. I think
It's
it's Josh
Josh, okay.
English. Yeah, English, and of course we have Alex Carey, Matthew Wade as well, and we all know around now recently that Alex Carey is set to make his Test debut for the first Ashes Test match. So yeah, initial thoughts, boys. Expected first of all, yeah. Same. I'm going to just go through the same format as I did for Pat Cummins. So yeah, what are your initial thoughts?
To be honest, not really. I thought maybe they might have an experienced Matthew Wade inside. I mean, of course, two different formats, but Wade had a really good T20 series.
Yeah.
And he looked like a batsman pretty much in good form. I mean, obviously, Test cricket is a whole different ball game. But then at the same time, I felt maybe Australia needed a bit of experience inside the wicket-keeping department. But at the same time, I'm quite happy that they gave Alex Carey a chance because he's, I think, doing pretty well domestically. I mean, I'm not really following their domestic cricket, but from what I've been reading on Reddit and stuff, it seems like a lot of people are talking quite highly of it. So let's see. I guess only time will tell if it's a good decision.
Yeah.
I guess in terms of it being the Ashes, most people have assumed that they would have gone with the, quotation mark, safer option in Matthew Wade. But to be honest, Matthew Wade has been up and down when it comes to his Test career. He hasn't really ever fully shown his potential. So I don't think it's completely unfair for Alex Carey to get a chance right now. And I mean, of what little I've seen him I remember watching him in the 2019 World Cup, and he was actually quite impressive. He came down the order, played some nice counter-attacking knocks. So he could, and as a wicket-keeper, most of the time in Test matches, that is your job.
Yeah.
So he could be a game changer for them. So I think it's a good move.
True, definitely. I think it is a good move as well. Personally, I think it is a bit of a bold move in my book. To bring in Alex Carey during a crucial series where you, the safer option would be to go with Matthew Wade definitely, but also I guess he's not proven himself as much as he would like at this level. He did perform pretty decently the last Ashes series, as far as I remember. I think he scored a century in one of the games. So it's more of his Test career before that, which hasn't been very pleasant. He averages something like 28 in Test cricket. So yeah, I mean, he's clearly a better white ball player than a red ball player. I mean, you could argue the same for Alex Carey, but I would say that Alex Carey is someone with youth. Someone who is younger, and hence someone you would want to, if you want to groom someone to be a future Test wicketkeeper, I think he is your man.
Yeah.
And
actually, just a fun fact. Actually, before we continue, I was just looking at Alex Carey's profile, and it's actually 30 years old. So he's not young anymore.
He's okay.
I think it's funny.
Yeah. I mean, I thought he was 20 something as well. But to be fair, 30, he still has a good 6-7 years left in him. If Tim Paine, when he took over as captain, he was 36. So I mean, I would still say he is considered a young player for Australia, and someone who I think has enough international experience to actually command a place in the Test team. Like, I would say he's a safer option. If I were to compare it with someone like Josh English, who may not have. I'm not sure of his record exactly, but personally, from a fan perspective, I would say Alex Carey is probably the better decision. But yeah, I think it's going to be interesting to see how he does. I mean, I personally was very impressed with what I saw in the World Cup in 2019. I thought he played with a positive intent, a lot of freedom, and sometimes if you play with that same intent in Test cricket, you do generally tend to do well. You see how David Warner doesn't change his game in any format of the game. He approaches the game in the same way, all three formats, and he has seen much
as well.
Exactly, yeah. But I mean, I think David Warner is probably one of the best examples of how to get success in all three formats without changing your style of play. So yeah, I hope that. I mean, personally, I hope that Alex Carey does well. He can emulate his white ball form in Test cricket as well, and yeah, it'll be interesting to see how they do. And yeah, okay. I mean, maybe one last bit about Australian cricket. I mean, the Australian team. Who do you think is going to start the first test in terms of their fast bowling department? They have quite a number of options. Yeah.
I would say for me, they'll probably go with three seamers. So the three seamers, I think it's Mitchell Starc, Pat Cummins, and Josh Hazelwood. They'll probably have Lyon as the fourth spinner. And I'm not sure of the fifth bowling option, to be honest. I think Cameron Green might come in as the all-rounding bowler option. That's what I think.
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty sure Cam Green will definitely play. He'll probably bat up the order, like might be 5.
Yeah.
Probably Carey will slot it at 6. I'm guessing.
Yeah. I think the main, I think in my opinion, the main question mark for Australian, like the entire team, or at least the bowling unit, is I think Mitchell Starc's position, because I think Starc's not been having the greatest of form lately.
Yeah.
Like I don't think anyone else you can drop them really, apart from Starc at the moment. But then at the same time, I don't see a good enough replacement for Starc, at least in test level. So
yeah, I mean, Jai Richardson is someone who's been talked about a lot.
Yeah.
Do you think we might see him start the first test? Arjun, what do you think? You think is a possibility?
I think they'll go with their tried and trusted Trident. I don't see them. I think you have to back experience. I mean, Mitchell Starc, he's one of those bowlers that when if he's on it, he can win a test match in a space of 2 sessions. That's the kind of or just a one spell of bowling. Honestly, he can take apart your team.
And also one thing which will make a big difference, that Starc can swing the ball both ways, and that's very handy in Test cricket especially. Whereas I've not really seen much of Jai doing that. Instead, Jai is more of like a stock kind of a bowler, from what I've seen him play. So I don't know if you guys have a different opinion about Jai,
but Jai Richardson has been doing well in domestic cricket, from what I've heard. So he is someone who is given Starc's erratic. I think erratic is too strong a word because he just won the World T20. World 2020 Cup. So I'll give him that. But I would say it's rather inconsistent form. I would say that Jai Richardson has a chance. You never know, but I think I am going to agree with Arjun a bit in the sense that they will probably back the tried and trusted three-seamer combination. But I wouldn't be surprised to see Jai Richardson play either the second or third test.
Is it a five test series?
Yeah. Ashes are always a 5-test series. Yes.
Yeah. So I mean, definitely rotation is a possibility, but then we also consider that England aren't exactly firing in terms of batting. So Starc might see this as an opportunity to get back in form. Perhaps their management sees it the same way, which is why I think they might back him for at least the first few tests. But yeah, Jai Richardson probably the next guy in if one of those guys get dropped.
Yep, for sure. Definitely. I think that's a good segue into England squad actually. So yeah, initial thoughts, boys. Any surprises there? Any names that actually pop out? I mean, it's been quite a while now, but Ben Stokes' inclusion came in rather late, relatively late. How much of a boost do you think that will be to England's chances in terms of winning the Ashes?
I think it's a massive boost, because I think they were lacking that all-rounder option. If I'm not wrong, I can't remember. Was Ben Stokes playing in the India series in England? No, right? I don't think he was playing. I don't remember.
I don't think so.
Yeah,
he wasn't.
They were missing him quite badly. You can see not just in terms of the bowling option, but even in terms of batting. And I think the weakest link of the England batting, like the department itself, is the batting actually. Because there's a lot of young blokes inside the batting, and a lot of time it's just Joe Root carrying the bat for them. But coming to Australia, I think they need to perform a lot better as a batting unit, because you can't just keep on relying on Joe Root to bail you out, always. So I guess that's where experience of Ben Stokes comes in, and it might come in handy for England, I feel.
Definitely. I think I agree on that. I think Ben Stokes is a crucial addition especially in terms of the batting department. Yeah, he is seen as an all-rounder definitely, but I think I personally see him as a match winner with the bat more than the ball. So given their fragile top order, so I'm okay. I'm guessing they're going to open with Hasib Hamid and who's the other guy? Who's the other opener for England?
Rory Burns,
Rory
Yeah,
Burns,
Rory
right?
Burns.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They have not been. England's top order hasn't been as assured as they would like. I think it's been a up and down kind of patchy form for them.
Yeah.
I think this series is going to be they're going to be heavy reliance on Joe Root once again to get them out of jail quite a few times. I think we are going to see some occasional scores from the top order as well as someone like lower down the order with Zach Crawley or Ben
Zach
Stokes will
Crawley's
definitely.
top one.
Usually Zach Crawley bats at number 3, but I'm guessing. Oh yeah, okay, fine, fair enough. I think Joe Root will come in number 4, right? Yeah, correct.
Yeah,
My bad.
sure.
Okay, Zach Crawley will come in number 3, Joe Root number 4, and I think we'll probably see someone like Ollie Pope or Ben Stokes come in after that. So
Yeah.
I guess we can sort of make out their batting order, but the one thing that concerns me is probably the lack of stability at the top, and I think how they are going to navigate the new ball is going to go a long way in deciding the series. That's my opinion at least. But yeah, I think bowling wise, I think they're quite okay. Not too bad, but I feel like the lack of Jofra Archer is going to be a big miss for them. He has been injured. He has been out for quite some time. I feel he's that X factor player which England lacked and have been lacking for the past couple of Test series, especially we saw against India. I felt that they lacked that fast bowler who could win them games out of nowhere. And I thought Jofra is that perfect man to do it. But yeah, what do you guys feel? How big of a miss do you guys think the Jofra Archer's forced exclusion, I guess, will be for in terms of determining the outcome of the Ashes?
Yeah, if you look at their bowling lineup, we've Broad and Henderson here carry a lot of the responsibility. And in the past, they haven't exactly been at their best in Australia. I think perhaps the conditions don't really suit them as much, of course, as English conditions. I feel like Jofra Archer is a lot more suited to those conditions in Australia because the bounce is a lot truer. And with his pace, he could trouble batsmen a lot more probably than Jimmy Henderson and Broad. And also, given that it's a 5-test series, it's very hard for England to rely on Anderson and Broad for all those 5 games. As much as they have still been incredibly consistent, and you could even argue that Jimmy Anderson is getting better with age, which is quite incredible at his age.
Yeah,
it's just not fair. It's just not fair, and that's why I just think that Jofra Archer is a huge miss. But Ben Stokes definitely helps in terms of their keeping their batting solidity, because you look at how they collapsed against India in both the tests that we won. If Ben Stokes was there, we might be seeing a different story. We might have seen more of a fight. So maybe Jofra Archer's absence could be countered by Ben Stokes' inclusion. But I still think that across 5 test matches, you will kind of feel it, considering the workload.
The other thing for England is also, I think they rely quite heavily on their bowling rotation. Like it's always talked upon. Like they usually rotate Anderson and Broad. Like they might start maybe 1 or 2 games, but then you can't expect them to start all the games together as to both of them. So I think that's where I guess your Ollie Robinson's going to come in. I can't remember who else is in their bowling lineup right now, but
they have someone like Mark Wood.
Mark Wood, yes.
Craig Overton, and as well, and they also have
Chris Wokes as well, right? He's also
Chris Wokes. Chris Wokes is a crucial find. Personally, I'm a big fan of Saqib Mahmood. I know he's only played limited games in terms of one day. But from what little I saw of him, I think he's a very, very promising player, and I feel he gives something different. He offers something completely different to what the current English bowling attack gives. He bowls somewhere around the high 130s, mid 130s, but he has very, very good control. At least from what I saw with the wide ball, he had very, very good control, and I think England might actually, if they use him properly, they can actually reap a lot of rewards, because he is someone that I feel Australia may underestimate a bit. Looking at, because I mean, if I look at all the strike bowlers there, Markwood is going to be bowling very very quick. I mean, 145, 150. Um,
50s.
yeah, probably Chris Wokes is. I mean, Chris Wokes. Yeah, I mean, we might see him as a medium pacer, but I mean, on his day, he can definitely crank the pace up. And similarly for Ollie Robinson. So I feel like these bowlers are quite similar in that sense. They
Yeah.
are going to be more of your seam bowlers rather than swing bowlers. Maybe, yeah, I mean, Chris Wokes is pretty very, very handy with the new ball. But I think Saqib
And
Mahmood,
he can play really well with the bat as well. So that lengthens
exactly,
their
yeah.
batting depth as well. Chris Wokes.
True, definitely. But I just feel like Saqib Mahmood just offers something very, very different to this England squad, and could be that X factor player that actually might decide the series altogether. But we'll see. I mean, he's not actually. I don't think he's in the. I don't think he is in the main squad. I think he's more of a backup player, from what I understand. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see how they go about it. What about their spin options? What do you guys feel about their spin options?
Yeah,
Do
we
you
have
think it will
Dom
even play a
Bess
part?
and I
Jack
guess
Leach.
Jack Leach. Yes, Dom
Yeah.
Bess and Jack Leach. I think Leach is probably the senior player, so he's more likely going to start. He's like your Nathan Lyon for in Australia, basically. Someone who's a trustworthy spinning
Yeah.
option. But then at the same time, the Australian wickets don't really spin much. They're more suited for the bounce and pace. So that's where you're going to need your three seamers and one all-rounder seamer as well, I feel.
They probably go with
I
one
mean,
spinner, right? I don't see them
Yeah,
doubling.
probably one
Yeah,
spinner.
I mean, they're probably going to start 4 pacers and 1 spinner, definitely. And I don't see Ben Stokes bowling as much as maybe you would expect from an all-rounder. I think they're going to go with 4 seamers apart from Ben Stokes. That's my gut feel. So,
But then the issue with England is that if you go with 4 seamers, it kind of weakens a little bit of your batting, because in fact England need more of the batting than their bowling. So I guess if you look at it in a different perspective,
the thing is,
depends
I
where you
mean,
balance it out.
correct. But the way I see it is, I mean, most of England bowlers actually can hold a stick.
Yeah,
Generally,
Ollie Robinson's pretty good as well.
yeah.
Chris Wokes, Ben Stokes. I guess that keeps them in a
No,
comfort zone where they can play the
I think
extra seamer.
the middle and lower middle order is fine. It's more of the top order. I think it's very very crucial that they perform. I think that's what is going to make the difference. I feel. I mean, that's going to be the biggest factor in my opinion, which is going to decide the fate of England in the Ashes. But I think in terms of bowling wise, not. No, there are maybe that one spinner I think might actually play a key role in actually supporting the fast bowlers. It is. I mean, we saw how India actually, when they went to Australia. I mean, of course, we're talking about spinners in different leagues here. I mean, Ashwin is a legend. He has taken more than 400 wickets. He's on 418 wickets right now. And even today, while we're recording it, he took 4 wickets against New Zealand today. So I mean, Ashwin obviously is a premier spinner, and no matter the conditions, I mean, especially in recent times, he has been performing outside of India as well. But I feel sometimes we do tend to overlook the role that a spinner plays in Australian conditions, especially in supporting the seamers. I think you do need that support with someone like Jack Leach or Dom Bess. I'm not sure if they can provide it at the same level as they would want.
I don't think they're
That's the
helped
thing.
by England's selections as well. Because Jack
Mm.
Leach has been very in and out of the team for someone who's seen as the senior spinner, which kind
Yeah,
of it really does hamper their ability to really bowl those consistent spells to give
correct.
their seamers a rest, which I mean, I just see Australia taking advantage of that.
Yeah.
I mean, let's not forget, even Joe Root's going to bowl a few overs here and there. So that
Yeah,
is probably
actually,
a
I
second
wouldn't
spin
even be
option.
surprised. Honestly, right, I wouldn't even be surprised to see England start with no spinners, like no specialist spinners,
and
because
just go
we
with
have
Joe
seen.
Root.
Correct. I mean, we have seen that in the past, especially in the India series, if you guys can recall. Generally, they tend to play the pitch more than their best squad on paper, at least. I mean, so far, I think we've only seen that tactic be successful for New Zealand against us in the World Test Championship final. But generally speaking, I feel personally you should include a spinner, at least one spinner in your starting 11, no matter the conditions, because you do, no matter what the pitch offers, a spinner does offer something different. And I mean, if everyone who's going to just roll the arm bowling, bowling fast, it doesn't really give
Yeah.
that sort of variety you would like in your attack.
Definitely.
Yeah. But yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how it pans out. And yeah, I think we can just do some predictions before we end off the episode. So Yash, how is the series going to pan out? What's this? Who's going to take it?
I think, if I'm not wrong, right now the Ashes is with England, right? Is it with Australia? Can't remember.
Technically,
actually.
is with Australia because
I think Australia, because they drew the series in
they drew the series,
Okay,
and
fair
because
enough.
they won the previous series, they have sort of retained the Ashes.
Yeah,
Retain the
retain the
Ashes.
Ashes. Yeah. So I'm going to go with Australia retaining the Ashes again this time,
Mhm.
and I'm probably going to go with a scoreline of 3-1, with one draw, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's my
Okay.
prediction.
I think that's a safe prediction, honestly, because I mean, also Australia at home, and given England's recent form
Yeah.
in Test cricket, I think that's a fair call to make.
But I
Arjun, what
guess
about-
it.
yeah, sorry.
Yeah, but I just wanted to add, like, I wouldn't be surprised if England can sort out their batting department at the top order, especially. I'm pretty sure we can have a lot closer fight for the Ashes. But the way I see it, as while we're making the predictions, I think it's going to be 3-1. Yeah.
Okay. Arjun?
5-0. No, I'm just kidding.
Aussie fans, look away.
Aussie fans.
No,
Final to who?
uh,
Yeah.
imagine 5-0 England. Oh my god.
Final to England.
That
Oh
will,
my god.
that will break the internet. My god. Yeah, I mean, I think we all probably agree that Australia are the overwhelming favorites. In home conditions, they are dominant, especially against England. I know India have kind of spoiled the party the last few years, but I mean, India are another level right now as a test team. So
Yeah.
I just don't think England have the all conditions team that they need to challenge Australia. And yeah, I just think it's going to be one-way traffic for most of the test matches. I'm going for 4-1, but I won't be surprised if it's a whitewash, honestly.
Big call, big call. I don't think it's an outrageous call, but I think it's a bold call to say 4-1 or 5-0.
I think it just be
I-
quite
I-
funny, to be honest. Because I want
Yeah,
to see
it
the great
will-
cricketer go crazy. They've been going with this
Yeah.
running gag of 5-0 for 2 years, so it'll be quite funny if it
Yeah,
doesn't happen.
yeah.
But we'll see.
It'll be fun to see them, definitely. I mean, for myself personally, I do think England are going to put up a lot. I mean, a much more of a fight than you guys are giving them credit for. I do see Australia taking it though. I think the series
No,
is
I-
going to
I'm
end
not-
3. Yeah,
Yeah,
I mean,
I'm not saying they won't give a fight. I just think they're not good enough. Like at the end of the day,
Yeah,
test matches
definitely.
are fine margins.
True.
They can,
But I mean,
even if they play
I
at
don't
their
think
best,
Australia are
play.
that. Yeah, I agree with what you say, but also in some sense, I don't think Australia are as strong as you put them out to be. That's the thing.
I
They're
think we'll
not-
see how good their bowling attack is. Like India played exceptionally well against their bowling attack, but against pretty much every other team, right? Their bowling attack has taken apart every other team. New Zealand came to Australia, absolutely
Yeah.
mauled. Absolutely mauled. India, honestly, if some catches went to hand, could have lost the series quite ugly, like in a pretty ugly manner. So
True.
I don't know,
yeah.
man. I don't see Rory Burns and who's the other guy, Hasib Hamid, standing up to Pat Cummins, Hazelwood, and
Yeah.
Stark, who can absolutely destroy you with a new ball as well. I just that's why I think even if England do play well, right? Even if England play at their best in a like any test match, Australia play like 80%, right? They're still good enough to beat them in their home conditions.
In home conditions.
In
fair
home
enough,
conditions.
Fair enough.
That's why I'm going
I'm
with
still
such
going
a-
for I'm still going for an Aussie win, but I just feel like they're going to be more draws generally, because I think Australian cricket Australia is also a board in crisis, in my opinion, or a team in crisis. It is going to definitely affect their morale a bit. I feel personally, because I think Tim Payne, all the controversy aside, I think he is a respected member of the dressing room, and I think the mood in the dressing room definitely. On the outside it could seem upbeat, but definitely for a few of them who looked up to Tim Payne as a captain, I feel that mentally they are going to be put on the back foot slightly, and as a result, I don't see them to be as dominant as maybe you guys make them out to be. So I'm probably going to go for a 2-1 Australia with 2 draws in the series. So it's going to be a lot closer than people I foresee. That's my own opinion, but yeah, we'll see how it pans out. Definitely an exciting December of cricket to look forward to. Yeah.
I hope you're right,
So,
because it'd be
yeah.
quite boring if it's just one-way traffic. That's what
definitely,
makes a good Ashes series.
100%.
Yeah, I mean the
100%.
last Ashes was really good, wasn't it? They won in England. That was
Yep,
a pretty good
definitely.
series.
I mean, if you guys watched the Amazon Prime documentary, I think that was poetry in motion
Yeah.
with especially the Jofra bowling to Steve Smith. That was brilliant. And I mean, I had the privilege of watching it live as well. So yeah, I mean, I hope we get many such moments this December as well. And yeah, I think we've more or less come to the end of the episode. We hope you guys are looking forward to the Ashes just as much as us. I'm pretty sure we'll be watching it. We will try to do a coverage, maybe test match by test match, but we'll see if time permits. Definitely, we'll try our best to put out the best content possible. And yeah, so before I end things off, just like to remind you guys that we are on Spotify and YouTube as the Next Team Podcast, and we are on TikTok and Instagram at the Next Team SG as well. So do follow us for weekly updates as well as content on our TikTok page, which usually encapsulates the highlights of our episodes. So if you guys are interested, so do give us a follow or a like, and yeah, we really greatly appreciate your support, guys. And yeah, with that, we will call it a day, boys. Thank you so much for listening, and we'll see you in the next episode of the Next Team Podcast. Bye bye.